The substitution and elimination methods are two standard methods that we use to solve these systems of equations. So we have the graphing method, that's what we have discovered together so far, and there's the substitution method and the elimination method. So in these problems, I'm going to be using a variety of methods to kind of show you, and hopefully this is something that you've seen in the past. Hopefully it's not the first time you're seeing it. But let's start with, suppose we use the substitution method on the first problem. How would I do the problem using the substitution method? To use the substitution method, basically I have to find an equation, and in that equation I have to pick a variable that has a coefficient of 1 to make my life easy. So like for instance, I can pick the first equation, equation number 1, and focus on the x in that equation because the x in that equation has a coefficient of 1. I like that because it's easy. So what I'm going to do next is try to isolate that variable by itself, and I could do that very quickly by just adding y to both sides. So now I'm just going to kind of hold on to it in my hand. So this is the start of the substitution method. Pick an equation, and then inside that equation pick one of the two variables. It doesn't matter which one. Usually you want to pick the one with a coefficient of 1 because it's going to make life easy. Once you do that, now go to equation number 2 and replace the x in that equation with the quantity that you just determined. So replace x with 5 plus y. Now, we do that because at this point in time, once you do the substitution, you'll notice that my equation has nothing but letters y's and some random numbers. So we can distribute everything out, and we'll be able to solve and figure out what y is. So this means that 10 plus 3y is equal to 1, which means that 3y is going to be 1 minus 10, which is negative 9. So y in turn is going to be negative 3. So now once we know what y is, we're going to say, but wait a second, I recognize that x is supposed to be 5 plus y. And if y is supposed to be negative 3, then let me just plug it in. And if I did that, I would end up with x equal to 5 minus 3, which means that x is going to be 2. And so that means I'm finished now. The answer to this problem is going to be 2, negative 3. So again, the way that this method works is pick one equation, and inside that equation, pick one variable. Once you pick it, grab the answer that you just got and feed it into the second equation in place of the x. Once you do that, your new equation should have nothing but the same variable. Solve it, figure out what that variable is going to be, and once you determine that, plug that number back into the answer that you got in step number 1. And that's it, you're finished.